Imposter syndrome is essentially when you achieve something like so incredible and you start to question yourself. You start thinking, what if this was just luck? What if I'm found out as like a fraud? What if I'm not good enough? And yeah, it absolutely sucks.
So you might recognize that you have imposter syndrome when you're really anxious about making mistakes. And when you do make mistakes, you're very concerned about how they are perceived by other people, feeling that they're going to reveal that you don't belong where you belong, or that you're not as good as people think you are. It can also look like overfunctioning and overwork, where you are constantly functioning and working at levels that are far beyond other people, and feel like if you stop doing that, you won't get what you have gotten in the past. The number that's typically reported is about 70% of people experience imposter syndrome, so about 3 out of 4. So people often think, oh, this is an experience of early career. It's not. Senior level executives can experience, C-suite executives can experience it. If you haven't dealt with it, you can likely experience it throughout your career. And then also, too, a lot of people say women only experience it. The research is inconclusive and suggests that actually both genders can experience it.
Were you ever pressured to do well in school?
Yes.
Were you ever criticized for every mistake that you made?
Yeah.
Were you constantly compared to a sibling?
Holy crap.
Imposter syndrome comes from the experience of childhood and from family dynamics. And so typically there are 3 typical childhood roles that are common. So you either were the intelligent one, so the one in which things were easy for you, and when things didn't come easy for you, you felt like it was evidence that you weren't as smart as everyone thought you were. Or the hardworking one, and that's the one where there was usually somebody designated as the intelligent one. You weren't that one, and so everything as a result had to come from extremely hard work. And then there's a third type, which is when you didn't get labeled as either one of those as a result of either abuse or neglect. And so your achievements were about kind of getting out of where you were in terms of circumstances in childhood. It's not a mental health condition in and of itself. It is correlated, though, with several diagnoses, including anxiety, depression, and low self-esteem and chronic burnout. And so, for example, if you are constantly worried that people are going to find you out as a fraud, it can make you very anxious.
You have this fear of being found out and that someone will eventually show you up to be a fraud and not worthy of all the responsibilities you've been given.
In terms of depression, it really can leave you feeling bad about yourself all the time, because every time you screw up, you feel like it's some kind of revelation that you're a fraud.
I stumbled upon this comedian Cheryl Underwood talking about her early on in her career. She had to act in a bunch of scenes with Tupac, and she was freaking out, naturally. But Tupac said to her, do what got you invited.
The first step is really knowing where it came from. And someone understands that as they really realize, okay, if this got started as a result of something that happened, I can break this. This doesn't have to be the rest of my life. It's not characteristic of who I am. How are you talking about yourself, your skills, your accomplishments to yourself and to others that is really reinforcing imposter syndrome and keeping it stuck in the way that it is? And then how do you choose a different narrative that actually is probably more accurate and more relevant to the situation, that will help push you into really believing who you truly are? Another step is really dealing with telling people about it and not living in your own kind of, private hell sometimes around it, and really sharing this experience with other people, other confidants, and really being able to celebrate your wins and moments of accomplishment with them. It's hard to overcome your imposter syndrome, and it takes work and it takes effort. But if you really want it badly, it's really possible, but you have to commit to doing the work.